start with one of the things that I would like you to be aware is that this particular statement, an outsider comes in and says he has solution to your problem, be very cautious. Then, having said that, if you saw my presentation, I usually saw the cards, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So, I'm actually going to be talking about a solution, but I'm not going to be portraying it as something that will work in Sikshana schools or anything like that, or something that Sikshana has created which has worked. What this is a solution that has found a place in the Karnataka government schools. What started out in a few schools ended up in nearly an entire state right now. And this is a model that has started to make an impact. So this is what I will be sharing with you all. Quickly about Sikshana Foundation, there's really nothing much to say except probably one thing I need to say is that the people behind this foundation, even though they call ourselves Sikshana Foundation, none of us have anything to do with education. None of us are teachers. We are just a bunch of techies, primarily, who felt that we can get into this space and have some impact. So that's about the people behind the Sikshana Foundation. Only one thing that we do bring about is our personal beliefs and philosophy, which has a place in its own. That is our personal thing, and then when we work in Sikshana, it's an entirely different concept. So, for example, in the morning, Mr. Chai was very, beautifully explained the concept of context into anything that you look at, number as an abstract. So I very strongly believe in that. For example, for my daughter who is now in 7th grade, I taught her alphabets, and I taught her only 5, B-I-D-H-A. That's all she knew for a couple of years. And so I very strongly believe in that, but then I understand that the Department of Education, at least in Karnataka where we operate, has a very different take on the entire issue. So I'm not going to be fighting them, I'm not going to go and impose my beliefs on them, but I know things are changing on its own, like how they teach Kannada is also changing in Karnataka, not the way I learned. So those changes we want others to deal with, and what we would like to focus on is just what is out there, what is in the system, what is the reality, and is there anything that we can do with it. So we all know what the status is, but just quickly, there is a slight different take we have when it comes to how we look at the government schools. Because in 2007, I moved back from US and decided to enter into this space as a one-year sabbatical. Just wanted to understand what happens. And then when I got into this government school system, I found that things were largely working. At least, maybe my expectation was too low, but when I came in, I saw enough teachers. The teachers were in the school. I would randomly visit some villages, and I always see teachers in the classroom. And then, in the next 2 years, I saw that the new system of recruiting teachers based on a common entrance test in Karnataka, and also the salaries were pretty high that I was not aware of. So, but then the next 2 lines is what I heard from the parents. So I just thought I'd plug it in because these have stuck in my mind for a very long time. Which is, one parent told me that nothing ever good happens by sending my children to school. And the other one was like, I know the value of it. So because we were trying to, we were funding some NGOs when we were in US who were trying to promote the value of education among parents. But here, when I came back in, I had a parent who was saying that they know the value of education, but not in this school. So that was something that hit us. And also, I saw that the government was making an earnest effort to fix a lot of things, especially in the teacher training. Because I think the joke that was going around was there should be year of teacher training or something like that was what they were doing in 2010 or something. Because the amount of training that teachers were getting at that year. But anyway, that is also important. That was important. But is it too little too late was something that we were asking, because the pace in which we saw those changes was too slow. Too slow to whom? I mean, it's not to us from outsiders who are coming in, but too slow for the stakeholders, that is the parents and then the children. And also, some of the, within the department itself, the second statement was from one official within the district official who said, all these budget allocations means nothing, because his point was that it was not getting implemented. So, anyways, this is where the gap was. And looking at it all, we found that there was something else that nobody was pointing out, which was that we were losing the above average children at a big pace from the government school system. We were all talking about why government schools are going back. We were trying to fix it, but the stream of above average kids going out of government school was in fact having that negative feedback into the government school system. And also I found that with all the teacher training efforts and everything else that was going in, there was not adequate support to the first generation learners. They have their own special handicap they come with, for whatever it is, right? And that was not being fulfilled for any of the programs that we saw out in the system. Not just by the government, but also by various other NGOs who were working. So we said we will not duplicate anything else that is happening, but we will try to do something very quickly, which is have the existing system deliver what it's supposed to deliver, and then also try to attract above average kids by using technology and English. I was very happy to hear the earlier speaker talk about the methods that are tried to get English speaking skills, because that is very critical if the government schools has to retain the English, the above average kids. So how did we go about doing this is, one, like I talked about the minimum learning levels. We came up with an intervention just for that. And for the second one is the technology. So I'll start with the first one. So again, the number of problems we saw were so many. We decided that we just take one and focus on it and not worry about the rest of it. Which was, we took this ASER report that I saw in 2005 first in US, which actually motivated me to come and do something about it. Because 2005, 2006, 2007, 3 years, the ASER report said the same thing about Karnataka State arithmetic. So 2007 I decided to pack my bag and come and do something, because they were funding some NGOs to fix this. And then I said, okay, let me come and try this out. So this was that. And it's the same number that I still look at. 2016, there is not much difference in terms of percentage. Whatever plus or minus, it's still a very dismal number. So we decided just to focus on that as an issue and just solve that. And to do that, we decided to work with what we found was lacking in the entire ecosystem was the student motivation. So student motivation, motivation itself, we've been using that word quite a bit today. In fact, when I came in last night and I turned on the TV, the room lights on, the TV just blared up, and the Kaun Banega Karolpati was running, and I think that this song was being the live orchestra. They were singing the Bharatam for Jansa Tyara. Even though the volume was so loud, I just wanted to turn it off, but I couldn't, because the music was so powerful. Every time you hear that song, when any of these, you're just so energized, and that's one of those, right? The motivation. That moment, it's there. But then after the song is done and Amitabh came back and did something else, it's over. So most of the things that we saw, it's very tough to encapsulate this thing and sustain it. We had some exceptional leaders who live in US now who are product of government schools, so I could bring them back into the ecosystem. We tried various things to help our rural kids to kind of as a role model. But every time I did that, we saw that we were failing to really motivate and sustain that motivation. And also, one other thing that really failed was trying to show them career choices and what they can become if they do well in school. Because that is really far out there. We can't even visualize what it means to be that far. So we came up with something very simple. A cost of a few paisa to motivate a child, just to start with a regular attendance and participation. Forget the learning, Mr. Khatri shared earlier, if they don't even attend the classroom, what can the teacher do? So let us just get them into the classroom first. So we started our programs in that, and once they do come in, let us focus on the foundational math and the local language skills, and then kind of get them on the chain. And one of the things, I was invited here to speak about the scaling of all this process, because we started in about 10 schools, and how we reached the 45,000 school now was, I think one of the key is this, why we focused on this word student motivation. Even though we are also, our program motivates the parents and the community around the school. So it's not just about the student, but while scaling, I did not want to miss my focus out of the child. So it was every step of the iteration of the program, just by keeping a focus on student and getting them to learn the basic skill. And of course, we had other programs running around it, which we knew was already having an impact on the other stakeholders, but I never talked about it within the team or external work. So always just one focus. That's it, and not worry about other things. So it's basically the program over the years. We kind of started to create a model out of it in 2007-8 academic year. It was very vague. Whenever we talk about terms like motivation, it's very tough to get a hang of it and understand it. And especially if you want to hand it out to somebody else, like the government, who runs thousands of schools. So we had to really create a model that makes sense to the people who read it and understand it, and also easy to implement and manage. So we focused on, we really laid out whatever we were doing into 4 different categories. I won't get too much into this. Anybody can go onto our website, which I'll share at the end of it, and you can read more about these things. But the idea is that you do a very structured approach to whatever you are doing, and make sure that you track every aspect of the activity that is happening, even though some may look like not required at that point in time, but we see a lot of benefits out of it. So I'll leave this out here because this is one of the core programs that actually took off with the government of Karnataka, which is getting implemented. So very quickly, so this is a star. So basically these are little stars that are given out to children who come regularly, who take part in the classroom transaction. So one of the things is, what do you do for kids who just don't even interact with the teachers? So it's not always the right answer that gets them a star. It's even a wrong answer, but a child makes an attempt, that should be rewarded. So there are a lot of things that we do, and most of this training that for teachers we do was never in a training session. We use little WhatsApp videos, not more than 2 minutes, and that's how we deliver. But once we gave this to the government, they had to have a half-day minimum training program, which includes that aspect also, because otherwise the teachers would not come, or the department honestly don't think that the training can happen without a formal. But anyway, we have proven now a couple of times, and the Karnataka government is more willing to listen to us. But so we have these little videos that the teachers can look and see what gets rewarded and how to use this incentive. So one of the things that we are noticing is that these kind of child act-based stars, the teachers have adopted them for a class sheet. So one of the earlier feedbacks in one of the districts from the state has come is they are putting one star in front of the classroom door. And for the class to get that star, every child has to be present. So what they are seeing is that every other child makes sure that they round up all the kids in the village and they all come to the classroom. So a very simple cardboard star is getting the work done there. So peer learning is something that we have done a lot of research on. At least even though I claim not to be an educationist, but this was something that was intriguing me for a long time. So took some personal interest and read about these things, and we instituted a structured learning program for paired teaching, paired learning. So 2 kids, different abilities, are partnered together. And only thing is that it has to be done every day in the same place, same time. So these are kind of the structured thing that they impose on. In the absence of these things, we found that these things very quickly over time just disappear from the system. So this is one more, and once we get kids excited about learning and taking an active part in the classroom, they need some materials to support and practice. So this is what I was talking about when we found that first generation learners lack certain inputs. The parents don't understand the value of a notebook and they don't buy it for them. Or they cannot, like we can do for with our children, write a few problems and give them the practice. So somebody else has to do it. And there is no other somebody in their homes. And it's only the teacher. And the teacher has only so much of time. But if you give them these kind of workbooks, and it's very easy to take care of that. And then, so this is how do you measure, how does a child visualize their own progress? So this is called, every child should own their own learning is what we believe in. So on the left side on the top it says my learning map, I don't know how many you can see, but there are some white stickers on there, space holders. So those are for various math and language competencies. And once the child acquires that, they get a colored sticker on which on the right side becomes, the target for the child is to ensure that their map becomes colorful. And that's all they're worried about at that point in time. Whether they're learning fractions, whether they can do, whatever other required competencies. All their goal is at that point in time is you get this sticker, and to do it, what you will do, you need to pass that micro assessment of the child and the teacher is given. And to do that, you have to practice, and there's a workbook which has the same icon allocated to it, so if they practice it, they get that. So it's basically made it very simple for the child to acquire that. And then also very picky about what we call as the effort that the child puts in, because most of the impact analysis is always about the end result. So the bottom half is like a certificate, and it's in Kannada, and it says continuous effort in certificate. So basically it's about the effort the child puts in, which starts from the attendance, then the peer learning, and the workbooks that the child has to finish. So again, it's all in black and white is a certificate that they get, and each time they finish a workbook, they get a sticker and they try to make it colorful, which is on the right side. So basically it's a very simple process where, we have found that kids are motivated to put in effort to do simple 40-page booklets, which are like over 1,200 math problems. These are the same teachers used to tell us that kids don't do even one page of homework. So, but when we wrap it around with these kind of materials, we are able to get them to do that. So what happens with all of these? So again, going back to our single focus, which was bumping up the metrics, right? So, over 2000, now 6,000, last time we did this assessment was in 6,000 schools across 4 districts. Across, by various independent agencies, Ernst & Young, KPMG, and the Department of Education Center team out. And so, with all of that, consistently we will be getting above 80% in arithmetic, where the state average has stuck at 30%. So, so there is a clear impact in the math and in the language skills too. So we know that this is working. So based on these, we were able to get the government out of the program. So one other thing, since again I have to go back to the challenges of scaling such a program. So if you look on the leftmost side, you see that number 705. So that was a metric that we used to measure the cost per child per year. So our program used to cost about 700 rupees per child per year, dollar and rupee adjusted, inflation adjusted value. And that means also we were a little fat. We had a lot of other, because a lot of things appear good when we first try to get a program in place. And it's very difficult to drop out any program, because all of them seems to make an impact. And it's very tough, because you cannot drop program A, B, C, because you think that all of them could be working, and if you drop B, will you get the eventual impact X that you are looking for? So you are a little scared, because there is also a component of, as a non-profit organization, we are supported by donor funds, so we have to deliver. And so if I do something, mess with a formula, what would be the impact? Coca-Cola tried and it was a disaster for them. So messing with the formula is a little tricky. But we knew that I cannot go to the government with 700 rupees per child per year. So with that constraint, we started dropping off programs even though they were pretty good working. Eventually getting out to around 200 rupees is where we ended up with before the state took over, and then it suddenly, because of the scale, it came down to 100 rupees per child per year. So a very low cost intervention, which I don't like to use a low cost, but it's cost effective. So it's all about, the reason the cost is in the picture is because that will help us clean up some of the fluff from our programs. Otherwise, we tend to carry a lot of these things as a baggage that can go with us. But all along, you can see that on the top graph, we were able to continuously improve on that, and then we hit a plateau. Our program just cannot make an impact above 90%. We saw that. That means these are the last 8% children who needs some additional help, which Sikshana on this scale cannot deliver. So it's for somebody else. But what we are doing is we are identifying those children because we do a child tracking. So because of that, we can network with other NGOs who are in that space and then let them help these children. So again, like I said, focus, because whenever I used to visit the schools, I used to be so tempted by that last 8%. And it's very difficult to walk away from them. And I used to go 5 days a week to the schools in the early years. But when we are scaling, it's part of it. You have to be strong and just walk away from them and look at the bigger thing that you are trying to achieve. So that's one of the points that I would like to bring in scaling these kind of social interventions. Scaling a business is a lot easier, I think, because you can be ruthless there. Here it's very tough. So anyway, so the government looked at our program and decided. So one of the key things was we were able to get the underline red there. It says, you cannot see, Students Motivation Program. That's a sheet from the Karnataka state budget line item. So we were able to convince the government that motivation as an input is very essential in the schooling system. And once we got that in, we were able to do a lot more inroads in the department. And then, of course, just 2 months ago, we signed up for the entire state. Where, the government is going to be implementing close to 44,000 schools covering 26 lakh children. So how did the government even agree to something like this? Because most of these scaling efforts go to the point where it hits the point where you cannot go beyond that. So we actually, in terms of modeling the whole program, we came to this point in 2013-14, and I had a lot of interactions at the state level, secretaries, and also at the MSRD. But one thing was very clear to me, with all of those things, they used to say good things about the program, but that last step of them saying, I'm going to take it, was very difficult, and I couldn't get a grasp of it. I felt very disappointed that with the 7 years I put in, nothing seems to work. For a brief moment of time, I really got frustrated with the bureaucracy. And I said, I'm just going to not walk away, but I'm going to take a break. So I just took a break and went back to US, started volunteering there with some other non-profits in the Bay Area with Google, visited a lot of schools in the Bay Area. Right next to Google, you won't believe this, there is a high school where the dropout rate is 60% in East Palo Alto. And Google guys were asking me if I can go into those schools and understand why it is happening. So the challenges they face is, it's just crazy. Here, we are so lucky with the kind of challenges we have. It's like, but when I saw that, it suddenly hit me what we had here. It was something that was very powerful. A simple thing that cost 100 rupees, can make such an impact on a child. And I really got drawn back into this, and I took charge again as CEO of the trust that I was trustee, and then again I started running. But then I realized that what was missing was that element that was what I found in US. Everything is structured. There was a way to measure everything. There was a software tool. And that led me to the next 2 years. I developed a platform for the state to run with. So without this platform, they could not imagine running a soft, mushy program called Prasanna across thousands of schools. So what it does is, very quickly, as as a techie, I get sometimes confused to go too much into it, so I will not allow it. But it's an Android app where aggregate data comes from various stakeholders like the CRPs, the BRPs, the teachers themselves. And then there is a OMR-based child tracking system that also comes as part of the same process. And there is it's basically a multi-layered data that comes. The same data comes in different forms. But then once it comes in, we kind of collate it all together and create a digital map of a school. So we strongly believe in that the data of the child is private. So the child owns the data of its own learning. But aggregate data is the only thing that is public. But that's very important that they all see where they each are. I mean, the school, where am I in respect to other schools in my cluster? And as a cluster, where am I in my block, as in my district? So at every level, the dashboard kind of feeds all those things. And we have designed this in such a way that as much as possible, we can catch the outliers and falsification of data. And the entire tool has been marketed as a motivational tool. Again, the tool itself is called it's not ever called as a monitoring tool. We have banned that word within our organization. Even though technically, if I don't use the word, the government will not look at it. So it's something that they love and something that I don't. But how we market it is, it's a tool for a teacher to showcase the excellent work that they are doing. So because on the dashboard there is a lot of school recognition, the school gets a star, the teacher gets a star, and what happens is in a video that the department shows, it talks about a school where some good thing is happening and everything is seen on the dashboard, and suddenly the CRP and the PEO talks whatever they are doing, and they rush to the school and they talk to the children and they clap in front of, I mean everything happens, and then it stops. And this was completely against Sikshana Foundation's idea, because we wanted to stop there because the others get the message. That is, the schools who are not performing know that if a good performing school can be recognized, a bad performing school can also get recognized, right? Because the data is there. And it's very tough. One of the things we found is how to find the right level of falsification where they don't get audited. It's one of the biggest tricky things that you can do. And what we have seen is, at least in the 6,000 schools that we work with, the teachers resort to the easiest one, which is tell the truth. Because then nobody can hold them accountable. Because if you try to fudge at this level of data, that comes in, it's very tough. They don't know whether 80%, can I claim 80%, is that safe? They have no idea. What 70 is safe? So what happens in the process is they just are admitting the truth. So this was something that the department was very curious about, so we had some analytics done on the data and we had people visit the school and actually do it. So it all made a lot of sense. Anyway, I won't go too much into it, but there's a lot of thought that has gone into on the back end of this program, which makes it kind of robust. And the biggest thing that whenever I address teachers, I have taken a lot of these workshops for the teachers to use the tool. I tell them that, this tool should be used by them, again, to showcase their work is one thing. And the other thing is that use this data as a mechanism for you to make that impact on the child. Because usually, whatever I see in the government system, the person who enters the data, or feed this information into the department, never see what happens with that data. I mean, it goes all the way out, but it never comes back to them in any form. They don't see it anywhere. But here, what happens is right down to the child level, the data goes back into their Android app. They don't have to ask anybody. They can just pull up their child and they can see many other things about the child in relation to the other children, the child in various ways that they never imagined that they could do. And they don't need anything more than a 3G, 2G, whatever. I mean, so ordinary smartphones worth 3,000 rupees, they are ready to work. So basically, I talk about more in that sense. Use this data for your core, goal of helping the child. So with this, we are able to, and of course these are something for the department. Unless they see graphs and all these things, they will not be happy. So we have something for the department, we have something for the teachers to keep everyone happy. So going back to that other slide that we talked about earlier, the first part is what we have done, and the second one I will briefly touch upon, because this is something that we are again trying to scale up. We are currently in close to 400 schools in 4 taluks or blocks. We started with just a handful of schools again. Here the focus is on the so-called 21st century skills that kids have to learn. And since I learned programming without having seen a computer in Mysore in a small school, I never saw a computer, but I learned programming. And I had no difficulty when I moved to US suddenly and I was sitting in front of a supercomputer. So I don't think it's about having access to the device as such, but what are they learning and how to use the device even if you haven't seen it. So our program, just focuses on that. If a school doesn't have laptops or anything, it doesn't matter. They are still acquiring the basic skills that are required today, which is ability to define a problem statement, ability to search for information, and any search will give you a whole bunch of information, including a lot of junk. So how to sift through that, just get the most important aspects of that, and then how to present it, whether you put it in a chart or you put it in a PPT, doesn't matter. So these skills are what we focus on. And if they have, and then of course we have brought in the experiential learning also, because our kids have even used drones to do the 3D thing. And if they don't have that, that's fine too. They can use a paper rocket and they still get it. So basically, as long as we focus on what is it that they are learning, whether it's a 3D spatial thing or is it, but the tool is not the focus, right? So that's how we have done this, and we are now trying to get this into the DSCRT in Karnataka to make it as part of that. So it's never about learning computers for the sake of computers. Very early on, when I got into a classroom, I saw just a small anecdotal thing. In 2008, I think I gave this feedback to Prasanna Foundation also. There was a lab that they had set up in one village in Kanakpura, Taluk. When I went in, beautifully set up, a teacher was there, all the kids were watching a whole bunch of things. This was something on pollination in Canada. And the child was looking, and then she had a question. She raised her hand in the lab, the teacher, she came in, and when the child asked, she said, "Don't ask me, I'm a computer teacher, won't ask your class teacher." So the child continued, the time was up and she moved out, and then I just quietly followed her to see what she would do. She went and asked the teacher who was sitting on the end of the hallway correcting something. And as soon as he asked her, "Where did you see?" She said, "In the computer." She said, "Go on, ask her." And quietly she just went. I know. So it's just, I saw many instances like this where, the computer cannot be outside of the classroom. So we, in fact, in 2008, when we introduced laptops, the entire block of schools, 128 schools, got laptops in the Taluk. So it was the entire thing, again, it's about what is the best use of the technology. Before I got into this, I was very much into environment area, even in my college days. So I am very much against the kind of technology that is just dished out and everybody carrying so many devices and all that. So especially in a school environment, what does a child do with a 550 megahertz CPU sitting which gets used 5 minutes a day? So it's better we share the device out. So we came up with something called a laptop for school and a pen drive for every child. Because the child had to feel that ownership, so the pen drive solved the problem. And one laptop ensured that it is a valuable resource that they all started sharing. And so basically, this is a whole journey that we took for 7-8 years before we came into this final model, which we think is now getting into a price point of what I want to hit, which I shared with the NHRD secretary when we visited our site in Bangalore in January. I'll come back to the 1,000 rupee per child per year cost in school. So until I hit that point, it's very tough for them to scale this program. At the same time, what enables us to do is, like I said earlier, we become more focused, we become more efficient in using these limited. The last time, so this year we have just moved this entire platform out onto the cloud. So starting very soon, the teachers can actually pull in on their mobile device even if they don't have a laptop in their classroom. So the entire thing works on a mobile device. So there is really nothing that they have to ask additional support. So these are some of the kids in action. In fact, the kids were given out tablets to go on in the villages. I mean, there's a lot of success stories like they doing panchayats and getting some cleanup done in the villages. And these apps support Swachha Shala, which we also is part of the. So basically, using technology, we have been able to get so many things that is expected to be done on a daily basis in the school into a more structured. So one last thing on where technology and this is, I'm sure you're all getting ready for the NAS that is coming up a week from now. So in Karnataka they decided to be a little adventurous and wanted to do state achievement survey, but instead of sampling basis they wanted to do census. That meant we had 54,000 schools and 38 lakh children. And so to do this, and we wanted to do it with because our program does student-based tracking, right? So the secretary wanted to use something similar. So we have to create individual OMR sheet for each child, for each of these 38 lakh students. And now we just finished that 2 days ago. So last time my team was up till 2:30. We were running our first batch of data that came in, and we processed about 1.5 lakh students' data last time. So this is something that, I understand scale at the government level, so anything that we come up with as a solution has to really work at that level. So anyway, this is something which I've had time I would have gotten into this, but so this is all I had to share.